Shotguns in Call of Duty can be annoying to go up against because of how quickly they can actually delete you, but they're also really fun to use because of how quickly they can delete everyone else. But not all shotguns are created equal, my friends, and today we're taking an updated look at what I think are the worst shotguns in every single Call of Duty game, from COD 4 all the way through Black Ops 7, and yes, my friends, we will include COD Mobile moving forward. So stick around if you're a COD Mobile player to see if you get any love. You let me know in the comments what you think the worst shotgun in COD history is. Drop a like and go all the way back to COD 4. The W1200. It's one of the only two shotguns in the game, so this wasn't really that hard. It was a pump-action boomstick that had some decent range potential, but on the other side, it was hard to use due to the limited range and the open map design of COD 4. You were rarely going to find yourself in close quarters combat where shotguns were a strong choice. And even if you were in those situations, the SMGs were more reliable. I mean, they had better DPS. The W1200 could get an insta-kill, yeah, but it only had 4 rounds in the gun at once, and the fire rate was pretty slow. So if you didn't land the first shot, let's just face it, you were pretty much screwed. And since this was Call of Duty 4, the SMGs were basically insta-kills at close range. So there was no point in taking this big W. It was not a big W for the win into battle with you. Both of the available shotguns in COD 4, they were pretty lame. But I would argue that the W1200 was probably the lamer of the two. Now we get to World at War. Don't hate me for this one. The trench gun. It's another game with only 2 shotguns. Most people will agree the trench gun was the worst of the worst here. Pump action, once again, held 4 shells at a time. It was already a bit of a rough position for a shotgun to be in like a game like World at War, where the maps, they were huge. But even though the trench gun had better ammo capacity than the double barrel, it had much worse damage and horrible range. Now, honestly, both the shotguns were pretty bad here, and there's probably going to be some debate in the comments about which was worse. Heck, I would probably change my opinion depending on the mood I was in, if you ask me, but with the mood I'm in right now, and as of the making of this video, I think the trench gun was worse. It did have better ammo capacity, but it still only held 4 shells at a time. It did have a better fire rate, but it didn't get nearly as many one-shot kills as the double barrel. They were both equally terrible. I'm just going to flip a coin and give it to the trench gun. Guys, do me a favor really quick. Link at the top of the description and pinned comment if you guys want to go check out the Chaos Call of Duty Archive channel. We are reliving 16 years of Call of Duty videos over there. Now we get to Modern Warfare 2, the original. I'm going to go with the M1014 here. How many of you even know this gun exists? Be honest with me. Have you ever used it? Modern Warfare 2 had some of the most iconic shotguns in history. This one was not those. It was a really late unlock in the multiplayer for some reason as well. I'm pretty sure Infinity Ward just copy-pasted this gun from COD 4 to Modern Warfare 2 as a way to speed up development and easily add another gun to multiplayer. But the problem was, the COD 4 gun was not capable of keeping up with the insanity of Modern Warfare 2. Now, this was a game with some of the most absurd shotguns in COD history. You had the Spaz 12, the Models, the AA-12, the Striker. They were all secondary weapons. Then you had the Big M. It was this dinky little semi-auto shotgun that held 4 rounds at a time, and the damage output was nothing to write home about. Now, truly, why would you ever take this thing into battle? You wouldn't. Give me one reason why you'd put the shotgun on your class over the Spaz, over the AA-12, over the Models. It was just underwhelming. It had no chance. Black Ops. Oh, sweet, sweet Black Ops. Take me back. The Olympia. Easily one of the worst shotguns, not only in Black Ops, but let's just say Call of Duty history in general. Probably one of the worst primary weapons ever put in a Call of Duty multiplayer. Double barrel. Horrible range. No damage. No pause. Well, I'm sorry. Inconsistent damage. If you shoved both barrels down somebody's pie hole, then you had damage. No possible attachments. And when I say the range was bad, it was bad. This is a gun where the pellets literally disappeared into thin air after like 5 meters. So you literally could not use it beyond close range. And I know it's a shotgun, and I know aiming down the sights doesn't actually tighten the pellet spread. So there was no point using the ADS function at all. I mean, in fact, aiming down the sights would make the pellet spread slightly wider, which I'm not sure if that was a bug or not, but it was never fixed either way. You don't get any bonus damage for headshots here. There was literally no way to make the damage any better with the Olympia. It's a total meme gun. Everybody knows it. It's pointless. Let's move on. Modern Warfare 3 2011. The AA-12. Now, the AA-12 downgrade between Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 was historical. Back in classic MW2, this was one of the most intimidating shotguns ever put in a first-person shooter. Fully automatic, plenty of power. You could instantly kill whoever got in front of you, and since it was a secondary, just put it in your back pocket whenever you wanted. Then we got the AA-12, and it was brought back for Modern Warfare 3. It was now moved up to a primary weapon category, but it also got a severe damage and range nerf. And since there was no more stopping power perk, you couldn't actually do much of anything to improve the performance. And this was not a very good game for shotguns, aside from the striker. The AA-12 rarely got a one-shot kill. Horrible choice for long sprees. And if you were going to use a shotgun in this game, your only option was the striker. But even when compared to others, the SPAS-12, the model, the USASS, this version of the AA-12, it was a struggle gun. I mean, I think this is one of the biggest game-to-game nerfs we've ever seen in COD history. Black Ops 2. I love hating on this gun. The S12. Now, Black Ops 2 had some of the best gun balance in COD history. We all know that, right? Basically, every gun in the game had some kind of value to any given player. Any gun in the game except for the S12. It was truly terrible. I know there's going to be some hardcore players down in the comments tell me it was underrated. Jimmy, you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't get good with it. If you were really good, you could have made it work. And I play hardcore. Well, right there is where we stop the conversation. As soon as you said you play hardcore. Every gun is good in hardcore. That doesn't actually save its reputation in my eyes. The S12 is a semi-auto shotgun. It's got a pretty quick fire rate. It's got a pretty big default magazine. But the damage for a shotgun, it's embarrassingly bad. You often have to hit someone 3 to 4 times to drop them. Did I mention the pellets disappear? I mean, after like 15 meters. So it's a gun that has to be used at really close range, but it doesn't even deal consistent damage at really close range. So what's the point? Do I have to remind you? This is the same gun that had the KSG and the Remington, or it's in the same game as the KSG and the Remington. Heck, even the M1216 had better damage potential than this. The S12 was garbage, trash, dumpster fire, everything you can say about it. Don't defend it. I'm not going to listen, even though I do read every single comment on every single video. Call of Duty Ghosts. The MTS225. What a creative name. If you played Ghost back in the day, you probably know the only shotgun worth using was the Bulldog. The time to kill in the game was pretty quick. The map design was really bad for shotguns, which means the only shotgun that could make a name for itself was a semi-auto spam machine known as the Bulldog. Now everything else was too slow. Had too much room for error in a game like this. With that being said, the MTS, I think it was probably the worst of the worst in Ghost. Probably one of the coolest looking shotguns in COD history. I will admit that. It was a revolving shotgun. Had some really cool animations. Did some pretty insane damage for about 5 meters. But after 10 feet, you were stuck with a very inconsistent damage output. And that moderate fire rate and the limited ammo capacity just set you up to fail. It held 5 rounds at a time. And the damage literally disappeared into thin air after 10 meters. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. If you're using a gun that is only really effective for 5 meters, why wouldn't you just drop the gun and use the melee button? Ghost had a one-hit melee knife for everyone. You could whip it out just by hitting the melee button. So why would I dedicate my primary weapon to a shotgun that barely did anything? I mean, definitely a worse shotgun in the game, at least in my opinion. Like I said, any shotgun that wasn't the Bulldog, you were going to struggle in this game. Advanced Warfare. I don't know. I know it's a meme gun, but I got to do it. It's the blunderbuss. I know it was bad on purpose, but that doesn't mean it doesn't belong here. This is truly one of the worst shotguns in COD history. It doesn't really matter if it was made that way on purpose. It is. The blunderbuss was the pirate shotgun that fires 1 blast at a time before needing to be reloaded for 5 years, and the range was so bad that there's a pretty solid chance you'll just get a little hit marker after spending all that time loading it up, putting the rod in, putting the ball in, putting the gunpowder in. I mean, it would be one thing if the gun was awkward and clunky, but it was a guaranteed one-shot kill. That wasn't the case. You'll still regularly get hit markers after wasting all that time on the reload animation and after trying way too hard to get up in an player's face so you could make contact with them. It was bad. It looked really cool. It sounded cool. And yes, it was a meme. But it was also a terrible gun, so here it is on the list today. Black Ops 3. I'm going to go with the Haymaker 12. I mean, honestly, all the shotguns in the game were pretty good in their own right, and some of them were just good on their own. KRM, Argus, those were great. 205 Brecci, we won't talk about that. But then there were 3 others. The Haymaker, the Olympia, and the Banshee. Now, the Banshee wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but it did have good potential because of the insta-kill power. The Olympia was awkward and meme-worthy, yes, but it actually did have some crazy one-shot kill potential, so it wasn't nearly as bad as the original Olympia we talked about earlier. So frankly, I think the full auto Haymaker 12 was the worst shotgun in the game because it was going to take the most shots to kill, and it was going to eat the most ammo, and it was never going to get a one-shot kill, and it was rarely going to get 2-shot kills unless you were shoving it down the barrel down an enemy's mouth every single time, which wasn't the case. I mean, with all that being said, it wasn't the worst gun in the world. It had decent potential in the right situations. It's just the other shotguns were all better. That doesn't necessarily mean the Haymaker was bad, but it was the worst here. Infinite Warfare. The DCM-8. I'll say this. IW had some interesting gun designs. And if you tell Infinity Ward, well, you can tell that they had fun making the guns up. The names, not so much. The DCM was a full auto shotgun that fired energy rounds, which was really cool. And it had a pretty generous 12-round magazine, but the damage was so low, it was really hard to see why you'd use it against other things. There were some really powerful shotguns in this game, so I really don't know why you would ever take the DCM over anything else, especially after the DLC came out and they added that M2187 to the mix. I mean, once that monster was added to the shotgun meta, this thing just, it didn't even exist. COD World War II. Don't be pissed at me. I'm going to cheat. I'm not cheating. It is the worst. Blunderbuss again. The meme gun. Once again, terrible. Here it is. The only thing that makes the Blunderbuss slightly better in this game than it was in Advanced Warfare is the fact there's no jetpacks. In Advanced Warfare, the jetpacks made it really easy to quickly get out of the shotgun's range, so the Blunderbuss was super easy to avoid. COD World War II, everybody had their boots firmly on the ground, so it was a little bit easier to keep people in your shotgun range, which made the Blunderbuss slightly more viable, but it was still a bottom-tier weapon. Reload animation, once again, took 5 years. I mean, well, it took 5 years last time. This time it took 4.5. Range was unforgiving, and you're not even guaranteed the one-shot kill if you manage to get close enough to hit somebody with it. I will say, there was some pretty cool-looking variants in COD World War II, and there was always something super satisfying about blowing people away with a pirate shotgun, but come on. Still the worst shotgun in the game, hands down. Now we arrive at Black Ops 4. Let's go Rampage today. Reminds me of the DCM from Infinite Warfare. Full auto, pretty big magazine by default, but that damage, it just wasn't there. It's pretty clearly overshadowed by every other shotgun in the game, so there was not much point in taking it unless you were just grinding camos. Black Ops 4, it had an insane pump action in the form of the MOG, had an insane semi-auto in the form of the SG-12, and it even had a remake of the Argus as the wild card. The Rampage may have been capable of spraying shells all over the place, but those shells just weren't going to do much damage. And in a game like BO4, where the time to kill was pretty long, you cannot afford to waste too much time and ammo on a single enemy. Well, the Rampage would force you to do that. Modern Warfare 2019, the last great Call of Duty ever. The VLK Rogue. I think the Rogue was supposed to be this middle ground between super strong pump action and slightly weak semi-auto spam. It was a pump action. I mean, it's also really small with a quick fire rate. So in theory, it would be this nice middle ground between those two weapon archetypes. Now, practice. It was lame. The fire rate was fast for a pump action shotgun, yes. But also not quite as fast as a traditional semi-auto shotgun. And yes, the damage was decent, but it wasn't nearly as high as a pump action shotgun, so you weren't going to get that many one-shot kills. I hope I didn't confuse everybody there. The gun felt awkward and inconsistent. If you wanted a one-shot kill machine, you would just use one of the slower firing pump action weapons. If you wanted a faster firing shotgun with constant pressure, you would take a semi-auto or a full auto. The VLK Rogue, it just didn't fit. Black Ops Cold War. Cool name, 410 Ironhide. This one's tough. All the shotguns in the game were good. Frankly, this game had a really good lineup of shotguns, but I'm going to say the Ironhide was probably the bottom of the pack simply because of how much harder it was to use than the rest. It was actually a lever action rifle that classified as a shotgun for some reason, so you'd have to be really precise with it. Now, granted, you could get some pretty cool sprees if you were good at aiming high, if you could stay consistent. At the same time, though, this gun has to share the shotgun category with the Street Sweeper, the Gallo SA-12, and the Hauer 77, which I always thought was underrated. Again, all the shotguns in the game were pretty good, but I think if you ask most Black Ops Cold War players, they would probably put the 410 at the bottom of their shotgun ranking simply because it was the hardest out of the four to actually perform well with. The other shotguns had really crazy damage potential, and it was easier to use them effectively. Now we arrive at the second best Call of Duty of the modern era, Vanguard. And if you're new to the channel and you just happen to click on a video and you don't know anything about me, that was pure dripping sarcasm from my mouth, okay? The Gracie Auto. Vanguard players probably remember how hard it was to avoid shotgun spam in this game because of how easily they could be exploited with things like fire shells and ridiculous range-extending barrels, but the Vanguard community also seemed to agree that the Gracie Auto shotgun was pretty bad. So here it is. I mean, it was a semi-auto, but it also had really limited ammo capacity. So if you're going to spend a lot of time staring at the reload animation instead of just firing at enemy players, I mean, why? The damage and range was pretty poor for the shotgun. I mean, yeah, you had that 10 attachment gunsmith at your disposal in Vanguard to try to make it better, but you could also make other shotguns way better out of the box. I mean, you'd have to spend 6 or 7 attachments on this gun to make it viable at all. If that's the case, there's a problem. Modern Warfare 2 2022. The Expedite 12. Did you know this was actually the M1014? Yeah. Remember the M1014 worst shotgun in classic Modern Warfare 2? Then it was worst shotgun in the new Modern Warfare 2? Yeah, it just happened. Even though it wasn't all that bad in the same ways as the original Modern Warfare 2's version, it was pretty bad. The damage was no good. You were frequently getting hit markers in situations that should have granted you a one-shot kill, and nobody could figure out why it was so inconsistent. It also didn't help that in a game like Modern Warfare 2 2022, basically every gun in the game was going to instantly melt you once it made contact with you. So getting hit markers, that pissed people off. Most of the Modern Warfare 2 community agreed that the Expedite 12 was the worst gun in the game. So here I am agreeing with you. Modern Warfare 3 2023, please don't flame me. The Expedite 12 might be unfair because it was literally a carryover weapon for Modern Warfare 2, but it was still bad. I figured the Modern Warfare 3 community wouldn't mind if I put it here. I may be wrong. I mean, the game may have been faster paced and the time to kill may have been longer, but the Expedite 12 was still a massive piece of crap that nobody ever used, and they literally copy-paste carried it over from Modern Warfare 2, so I have to hold true to my thoughts here, and it's back-to-back the worst. Black Ops 6. The ASG-89, once again, such a creative name. Let me name your weapons, please. I mean, all three shotguns in the game are pretty good, so spin a wheel, go with the ASG. It's not bad. Semi-auto, kind of inconsistent damage, still had a nice DPS output on the smaller maps. It'll get the job done, okay? I'm only putting it on the spot because it doesn't have the crazy one-shot kill of the Marine SP or the insane full auto potential of the Maelstrom. So it's kind of mid compared to the other two shotguns, but it's still a solid weapon in its own right. I want to make sure that I put that out there. Black Ops 7. The Akita. I know it's early. This can change. It probably has by the time you've watched this video. Pretty sure most of you will agree with me that the Akita shotgun is the worst right now. It's full auto, which is nice. It is intimidating looking in akimbo form. It's got some serious kick to it, and it's got some really horrible range value, so you basically have to be spinning on somebody in order to deal decent damage. Now, I don't think there's many shotguns in the game right now, so I'm going to keep this entry short and sweet since Treyarch is probably going to end up changing all of this with patches as of the making this video. But right now, I'm going with the Akita as the worst, at least to me. And if you disagree, you can let me know. And last but not least, my friends, COD Mobile. It's not Mobile. COD Mobile. I'm going to go with the Echo. It's hard for COD Mobile. There's the sheer number of guns available in this game. It's hard to determine which one is actually the objective worst, but going through the subreddits, doing the work, putting in the time, seems to be a pretty solid group of people who think the Echo is the worst in its class. Now, for those that don't play COD Mobile, the Echo is the COD Mobile version of the Origin 12, so you should actually know what to expect here. Semi-auto, big mag, decent fire rate, chunky, clunky handling, right? But while the Modern Warfare 2019 version of the Origin 12 was solid, the COD Mobile version had a much less forgiving damage profile, and the range definitely leaves something to be desired. Now, it's not horrible. None of the COD Mobile shotguns are horrible, I don't think. Then again, I'm not a professional here. We're just now starting to put COD Mobile and absorb it into our COD history. I mean, it's only like a couple years late, but it's here, right? But I think it has the least positive attributes when you compare it to all the other COD Mobile shotties. So there you go, my friends. Let me know where I agree or you agree. Let me know where you disagree. I also want to take a quick second. If you made it to the end of this video, just want to say thank you. We're almost at the end of 2025, which means we are almost at the end of 15 years of this channel. I launched this channel back in December 2010 at the end of it. I think somewhere in December. So we are right there on the, well, we're actually right there. Yeah, right there on the 15th anniversary. I can't do my math. Or is that 16th? I don't know. The point is, it's a long freaking time of Call of Duty videos with you guys. So for all the newbies here, I see you. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you stick around. For all you veterans that have been around forever and comment every single day, I do see it. It never gets old, and I always try to stay humble with the fact that somebody takes time out of their day, their busy lives, to interact with me. So when I do tell you guys I read every single comment on every single video, that's not a YouTuber lying to you. That's a guy that's very nostalgic and very emotional about the base that he has here and the support that they've showed. So I just wanted you guys to know that, and I'll see you soon.